Budgeting, make sure you budget. So, recent activities. They had a flood in Texas. Flood was pretty bad. This goes into a lot of the preppers. You can never really prepare yourself for something like that. It's not easily avoided. I mean, to the most extent, when you're picking a living situation, making sure you're not in the flood zone is key. What's going on, bros? Yeah, making sure you're not in the flood zone is key. But you never really could prepare for something like that. I mean, it's man-made, in so many words, I think. But when it comes down to stuff like that, hey, that Texas, man, hats off to a lot of the people that lost their lives. It's just a tragic situation. I seen this one lady, her dad was, bedridden, in the bed, couldn't get up, on the oxygen machine, whole house flooded. How could you prevent something like that? It's like the situation that happened in New Orleans. I mean, that got me not wanting to watch the news because they replay that over and over and over again, man. It's like so tragic. Then seeing the animals coming in, like the alligators out there just eating people, man, and just, man, it was a tragic situation. And that much water being dumped like that, I mean, who knows? That could have been something going into not only just the levee breaking, but dumping so much water over there like that. I mean, it was crazy. And then, for those, tinfoil conspiracy theory people, go look up, they have a machine in Mississippi that makes rain. That one in St. Louis as well. You can look it up by rain machine. Can you make it rain? Just stuff like that, they'll pop up. But, little be told, man, there's just sidebar about that. Prepping, getting ready for anything, disasters or something, having your essentials. Like I showed you earlier, this book. Having a notebook, binder of which, to the point where a big binder where you can put papers and stuff in there. Blues, what's going on? And having all your stuff prepped to where you know what's going on, to where if anything happens, man, you have it to the point where you're able to get up out of there. Like I was telling my wife was like, why would you want a little boat? I'm like, situation like that, I got a John boat, something small, a canoe, something better than nothing. I can get my family out of there safe. I'm trying to get my four-wheelers back in, working condition. So if anything happened, throw my gas can up, I got four-wheelers. The cars can't get through, four-wheelers can. Looking at give me an e-bike going about 30-40 miles an hour. That's good enough to keep people from you when they running. And you got that e-bike, hey, you can get up out of there real easy, a little faster than most. The days of people just, not taking things serious, man, like prepping. That's why I'm always talking about budgeting, making sure you have the money for stuff. That's why I'm always talking about life insurance. Look how many people lost their lives. Now, there's two things going to happen with this. It's going to be a transfer of wealth, and there's going to be a transfer of debt. Because knowing that if you don't have enough money to bury your family members, it's going to be tragic, man. All your information, all in the house flooded out. Do you know the insurance company? That's why I was saying that I have a binder where I have my passports, I have my marriage certificate, I have everything that I need in order for me to, pop out. If I got to catch a flight, I got all this stuff in there. My life insurance, all my life insurance. If anything happened to me, my wife can go grab that binder, put all the life insurance up, Call these companies, hey, my husband passed, I'll send you the death certificate, boom, boom, boom. Because you're going to need a death certificate. They want to reach out to the funeral home, who's ever making the arrangements, and they want that death certificate from the state or whomever. You know, they want to make sure that you pass. I mean, no, they want to know the reason as well, because a lot of people get insurance, say they don't have cancer, and if they find out you had cancer, it's hard to get around that. But if it's something that you lied on the application and they find it out, oh, they're not paying out. I mean, that's just it. They're going to give you the money that you put into the policy, but they're not going to pay out that large amount like they planned on, because that's the thing. To stay in business, it's not that they're going to be shysty about it. They're going to be upfront with you if you be upfront with them. So that's another reason why you want to tell the truth on the application. Make sure you're doing the right thing to get your money. Because, I mean, truth be told, you want your money. Yeah, I mean, that was crazy. Compared to the situation that happened in New Orleans, man, I flew all the way from New Orleans, Jackson, Mississippi got hit. And for those that truck drivers, just people, just geography, know where Jackson is. Jackson, Mississippi got flooded. So that showed you, man. You know how far Jackson, Mississippi is from the coast? And so it's coming down to a situation where a lot of things are at play. We're looking at situations for what they really are. And, you know, truth be told, it's going to be some stuff that's going on down the pipeline. You know, we got to prepare ourselves. That's why I always talking about budgeting, man. Trying to get you a nest egg, savings. I mean, the thing is this. If I don't have a lot of money, which I'm just going to point blank and say, I don't have a lot of money. I'm not rich. I'm not making over $100,000 a year. But at the same time, I'm preparing the next generation to have a leg up by having my life insurance. By getting myself together now, so for future generations can have a little more money. Teaching my kids how to spend their money versus going to get a Ferrari or get a reliable car like a Honda or Toyota and stuff like that. Trying to let them understand getting a house, you know, it's going to be a burden. The American dream is not the American dream anymore. People who get what's going on, Breeze, Mega's in the building, what's going on with you? Hey man, I gotta check you out, man. I seen you popped up one day and I had to go run out and do something. I didn't even catch the live. I think it was on Friday. But yeah, man, people are not telling the ins and outs of this new American dream of having a house with 2.5 kids. I mean, honestly speaking, it costs to have kids. It costs to have a pet. That's why I don't have a dog. I don't have a cat. Yeah, it costs to have a goldfish. I'm a little tired today, man. I had to get up and help my son last night, man. He got a flat. Boy cracked his rim like 12-something midnight, and I'm up. I'm already in the bed, sleep. And I had to get out there, go help him jack the car up. Come to find out, the car just about sitting on the ground. Then he broke the rim into the control arm, so I had to take that out. That was another like craziness. But yeah, that's why I'm a little tired. But yeah, man, it's expensive. 2.5 kids. You lucky you can get one child these days. You know how many people? Yeah, it was crazy with him last night. That's my oldest. He's 25. Yeah. But yeah, man. Then you talking about the American dream and buying a house. I'm all for buying a house. I'm always telling people to buy a house. That's the way you're going to transfer wealth. That's the way you're going to help the next generation. Because this is the thing. If they can't afford that house, time what's going on in the building. Peace to you, peace to you. You late night bloom. I be catching sometime when I get up in the midnight. I'm like, oh, time on, man. Let me check this, hit this light, lay back down. But yeah, man. So Getting that home, I'm all for it. But this is the thing. When buying a home, you got to know what you're getting yourself into. Always try to get a warranty. Make sure you always without a shadow of a doubt, get an inspection. An inspection is it's a key. You're looking at an inspection just like you're looking at the glossary of your home. It's going to tell you the ins and outs, everything about it, the good and the bad. Because sometimes if you have a good, tell you, and they tell you on your water heater how long that water heater is. You know, they tell you how old that AC unit is, the heater, how old that is. You know, a lot of times you have issues with electrical problems in older houses. You might have to do some rewiring. You might have to update the wiring. But the thing is, these older houses will be built to last. Compared to these new houses, I would not buy a new build unless I pick the contractor. I go every step of the way to put in the work. Cynical's in the building. What's going on, Cynical? That's the only reason I buy a new build. Because I'm actually in the process now looking at barndominiums. Because, I mean, I give me some land on the outskirts, barndominium, checkers. I've been looking at that because I can zone it as farmland. I can have activities on my property, you know, make a little money off the land. Plus, with the farming, I don't have to necessarily have chickens and all that. I can sell the trees and things on my property. I can have a strawberry picking or a tomato picking farm, something like that, and do something, activities that help me bring in revenue to pay for that land. 10 acres is a lot. The taxes gonna be lowered if I turn it into a farm. That's another thing that, you know, getting that land, getting it farmed, getting it zoned as a farm, you're making money, man. I'm telling you. I'm researching all this stuff. The crazy part is, man, my dad, he passed when I was young. My dad had all this stuff planned. Don't you know, by the time I turned 18, my dad had a trust. I didn't even know about it till I got 18. And I'm like, all this stuff my dad prepped and did. It was like me having to learn and get. And the crazy part is, man, my dad spoke 7 languages. I only speak 1. You know, not that fluent and know a little words here and there. You know, I took Latin in high school. It was, you know, pretty worthwhile. It was the dead language of many languages. But the point of it is, like, having that home, man, it's a lot of sacrifice a lot of people are not telling you about. Having a home is great, but man, you have to fix the AC. I told my story for people that, you know, don't even know or been on my channel a long time. Man, I sit up there the first year of getting into my second home when I moved back in the city, because I was like, this the house I'm gonna get before I sell or I keep and move back out to the country. Because country living is better, to me, in my opinion, for the high school kids. They have those hands-on classes, trainings, and stuff like that. And I've always told this why I moved furniture. You know, I moved for the kids. My oldest kids, I moved towards the country because the schools were more safe. They were more efficient. You know, you move in the city, they have more programs set for the youth. You know, to helping kids with literacy, programs helping kids are behind. I mean, honestly, I admit it. My 2 younger twins, the twins, when they were young, they didn't go to one of those prep or churches down there where I was at in the country. My kids went to the Georgia Head Start program where it was free. They didn't learn nothing but ABCs, singing songs. I didn't know. If I knew that putting them in a school like that, I researched so much on my older kids. By the time my twins got to school age, I wasn't prepared. And like I said, I moved for my kids, so I had to move back to Decatur, where I was originally went to school at, to help them. And they had a lot of programs. One of my sons, man, he recently got an honor roll, and this boy is sucking math. Like, he has an off switch to where he couldn't do nothing. I'm getting off the subject. Let me get back on it. He has an off switch, man, to where math is not his good subject. He can read well, engaging in speaking, man. He loves speaking, not afraid to. But bad in math. This year, scored a good grade in math, and I was shocked. I was shocked. Got on the road this year. But like I said, getting into back onto it, moving for your kids is the big thing. If you don't have kids, man, lucky you. You don't have a big expense. You don't have a lot of overhead to where, your money's going in and everywhere. But like I said, it's all being represented on how you're willing to move around for your kids, how you're willing to do things to sacrifice for the betterment of your kids. Getting a home warranty will help you more than anything. Getting that home warranty would, put you in a situation to where anything goes wrong. Like I said, the first year of me being in my house, my AC went out. AC went out, and the AC went out right at the end of the summertime. So I had to deal with that going into the fall, which I didn't mind because I was gonna be burning heat. But when that summer rolled around, I had to get it fixed. I had the warranty paid for it. Had a roof leak, and this was going into the same time I was getting ready to fix the AC unit. Just as I was fixing the AC unit, I had a leak in the roof with my boys' room. I had a branch that fell up there. Didn't think nothing of it. Pull the branch down, cut it up, hauled it away, whatever. Next thing you know, they get spots in the ceiling. You know what that means? It's a leak somewhere. So I didn't even go up in my attic. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to put a tarp up here, and all that stuff, get on the roof. I don't deal with heights well. So warranty people again stepped in, and now actually it wasn't a warranty. It was my insurance company. So I ended up getting another insurance company, and my old insurance company covered me for 6 months. So I had to go back and use them. I had to use them as well to actually figure out what was going on, and they ended up covering me for that time. My refrigerator went out. Okay, let's go back. Roof cost me $55,000. Didn't have to pay nothing but $1,000 deductible. What else? The AC unit. That was, I think, $45,000 or $5,000. Didn't cost me anything. Through the warranty, I think I paid $100 for the little plastic concrete stand for the AC unit, and it was a brand new train. They tried fixing it, it didn't work, so they ended up just putting it, a brand new one in there. So good, paid $100 for that. My refrigerator, end up having to get a refrigerator. I bought, when I first moved in the house, there was a refrigerator there. I didn't like it, was old, but I left it there. Went and bought one on my own. I paid $900 for a used one. That was an LG. Took that out, didn't work. My wife wanted this nice Samsung one, so I bought that one, paid $12 for that one. That one didn't work. So I'm like, man, I'm tired of paying for these used ones. I'm gonna go ahead and get a new one. My wife comes to me, oh, did you know that the refrigerator's on the warranty as well? Called the warranty company. They came, checked it out. It was the freezer core that messed up, same as the other two messed up. So they ended up giving me $2,200 to get a new refrigerator. Got a new refrigerator. I bought a stove myself. I paid $700 for the stove, delivered it myself, put it in my pickup truck, brought it up by myself because it was the day before Thanksgiving and I couldn't hardly get nobody to come over. Family, one of my cousins who stayed around the corner, he was out of town. My brother, he stays in Fayetteville, which is about an hour and some change away. And I think he said he wasn't coming, so I had to do it myself. My son was in Valdosta at the time when he was in college, so I had to do it myself. Picked it up, threw it in there, had to have a Thanksgiving dinner. But all that to say, getting a home is going to cost you. Don't believe the hype when they tell you, oh man, a renter. Only difference is As a renter, if something happens, you call the landlord. But just know you're paying that premium every year when that rent goes up. Just like with the mortgage, that mortgage don't go up. They don't tell you it's your insurance and your property tax. They go up. That's what makes the mortgage go up every year. Most people, they tend to try to pay the taxes to the side without being it, and keep up with that, dropping $2,000 at one time. If you got it on your tax return, cool. But if not, keep it on there. Make it simple. You know what they say, keep it simple, stupid, something like that. But basically, that's gonna help. Getting a home to where if I'm in it for 10 years, the resale value, hell, you might get $50,000 to $100,000. Mine pretty much almost doubled in what I paid for it. But the thing of it is, it depends on the area as well. What they always say, location, location, location. You know, they have areas that get gentrified. Man, people are paying money sight unseen just to get the home. Then you have areas that, man, it goes up at a small rate because it's a nice area. But going into it, buying a home is going to be your best bet. You're going to leave money for your kids. You're going to leave money for your spouse. And let's say if it comes down to it, I always talk about this two-parent household and the income and the family work. That's the only way you're going to make it work. Two people have to get together and, make it work where you won't have to struggle, where you won't have to, you work with each other. The crazy part is it was funny to where I was looking at a lot of people talking about the marriage rate back in the day. It wasn't because they loved each other. Lisa J, what's going on with you? It wasn't that a lot of the people who got married, they loved each other. It was a financial decision. A woman with, not shaming women now, just listen to me. A woman with 7 kids get married to a man. A woman with 10 kids back in the day get married to a man. It was a financial decision on both ends. That man, he had a farm, he needed help with the kids. It might have been a woman who had everything. Because most of the time when those men die, a woman, she's left with 20 acres. She's left with horses, cows, everything. Who's going to come in there and tend to the fields? Who's going to come in there and slaughter the pigs? Who's going to come in there, milk the cows and all that? When that woman goes and gets remarried, that becomes that man's property as well. Even if a man comes into a relationship with nothing, he has everything. Back in the day, that's why it was more feasible for those relationships to work. It was a business deal. A lot of people miss out on that. Even the point with the women that benefited from it too. If a man came in there, a man who had everything, and he wanted to finally settle down because, he had the money. He married a woman with or without kids. It was always a proposition. It wasn't that all those people loved each other. You know how many men cheated back in the day and had wives and women across town, and those women helped them pay the bills at that other woman's house? How many men had kids and looked at that boy and like kind of the milkman? This is like the milkman's son. It was always present that men and women cheated, but when it came down to it, far as the proposition of family, money, they made it work. You know how many men knew that wasn't their kid? You know how many women knew that those men were cheat? It was always a business proposition because they made it work because, hey, you needed the money. It was cheaper to keep her, and you got more. All this, oh man, I'm a boss chick. I can do it all on my own. Why? You don't have to. Man, I got money, man. I'm fly, man. I don't need. Why? You don't have to. You find your person where you can make it work. Y'all get together and build something. All this Jay-Z, Beyonce stuff. No, have your own story. And that's what it was most of the time. It wasn't that a lot of those people were mad in love. Look how many times I would see these old couples argue, and these old women be like, "Ah, bust you in your mouth," and the old man be like, "I'm gonna slap you in your mouth too." "Oh, you hit me, this and this gonna happen." They sit there and argue, then they go hug each other later. You know how many times like these situations happen? I mean, it's crazy. But the point of it was always an instant where when it came down to family structure, the men and women made it work. Nowadays, we don't want to make it work. That's why I say the housing market is taking a dip to where it's going to have to reset itself. Because the houses are overpriced. They're inflating on the interest rate. Why are we paying so much in interest and the market is not even correcting itself? How many people work a job and not keeping up with inflation? I mean, there's companies that only giving a quarter, maybe 50 cent range a year. But the housing market just in the last 5 years double, or if not, went up 60%. You got a house that was selling for $150, now going for $275. Where's the logic in that? Where's the logic? Then you talking about situations to where jobs wanting to pay entry level position coming in the door. Who's getting $500 a week and making it work? I mean, even as a young kid having his bills, $500, it's not a lot of money. That's why I keep trying to promote people to get trades. I told my boys straight out the gate, you're going into the military or you getting a trade. You can go get your college degree later, but you need a trade now, because if anything happens, you go to school. I mean, I'm gonna put a video out about these degrees that people get, in the arts, sociology, and criminal justice. Those are the main degrees that people get, and then they go work at IKEA. Because it's saturated. It's so many people in those degrees, especially with a lot of these young men. I keep telling them, get you a trade. You can go into IT, yes, you can go in there, but you know how many people are in IT now? They're saturating the market. You got to fight with 10,000 people that's already in the IT field, and you're coming in A+ certified, where you got people C+, pipes, Linux. They're already certified and all that. And a lot of people, just getting certificates boost up your way anyway. One of my friends, he work in IT. He worked for the government. This guy constantly getting his certifications. You have to always constantly get his certifications every few years. You know that wave of people that says, man, I'm tired of going to school. That's what you do when you're in IT. You constantly have to get certifications. Because why? All this stuff is forever changing, just like a mechanic. Dude, I can't tell you how many mechanics that I've talked to, and they keep having to go back to school to where they just want to get a small shop, go work on low maintenance cars, Toyotas, Hondas. They don't want to work on those Mercedes no more. They pay well, but then you constantly have to go back to school training for them. Some of the Hondas and Toyotas too as well, because they're adding that new technology. But the point of it is, man, you got to get yourself in that field, man, make it work. A lot of times, man, we have situations where nobody's not guiding us. We don't have that following, that backing, that education. And I say this all the time, man, you on YouTube, go learn something. Go learn something. Get yourself in the mindset of stop trying to be on here to be entertained all the time. This entertaining phase, man, is going to die out. Then what are you going to have? Just have an understanding, man. Whatever you're going through right now, you're going to put yourself in there if you keep on with the same old. I'm just saying that right now. I'm about to get off of here. Like I say, man, when it comes down to it, understand what you're dealing with. Know your situation. Budget is the key. Make sure you have enough money to survive. Start getting your savings. Even if you're only putting $5, $1 a week till you start adding more. Cut off on all this eating out. Eat at home. Bring your breakfast, bring your lunch to work. It cuts down on your spending. Me, myself, I drive trucks. Man, don't you know I actually go to the grocery store and buy my water, juice, fruits, whatever I need for the week, crackers versus going to the corner store. Man, just this weekend, prime example, my brother gave my boys $20. They went and bought, what was it? 2 waters, 1 soda, 2 candy bars, and spent $15. 5 items. It's like almost 5 items at $3 a piece. 5 items at $3 a piece. I told you when I did that, man, that's what made me stop going to the corner store. I went and bought 2 waters, 2 Powerades, a bag of chips, some gum, and a candy bar, and I was at almost $30. It was like 28 and some change. I was like, did I buy the king size? Like, what's going on? I'm like, man. So I'm big on, man, just trying to budget myself, get to a point where I have enough money. Getting to situations to where, man, I don't need to be spending all this money. I need to be saving this for a rainy day. Like I said, my son last night, tire went out. Don't you know my son ended up having to pay, if he get a used tire, $50 a tire. New tires, about $110. He need 2 new tires. So I'm like, you might as well get 4. If you're gonna get 2 new in the front, you might as well get 4 new tires. Then he needs a new rim. Cracked the rim, the car slammed off the jack. Now the rim is gone. He need 2 new tires. Yeah. I mean, the crazy part is eating out on the road, you'll get big real quick. I mean, with me just coming home locally still, I'm good. But the point, Towns Fair, yeah, we do out on the outskirts and stuff. Oh, but the crazy part is in Stockbridge, not that far from where I stayed, maybe 20 minutes, they have a arena that does free concerts. The only difference is you have to register for the tickets online due to the fact that the fire marshal, you have to have so much room for people. You know, they want to have a cutoff point. But they have free concerts, free firework event they just had over there. They had a free concert with an old school night. And I'm talking about, it wasn't a whole new edition. It was what was the group that they had, the 3 guys? Bell Biv DeVoe, who they had, what was the other old school artist? I think they had Keith Sweat one night, and it was a free concert. Yep. It was a free concert, and then just R&B. They had a old school rap concert there for free, and it was like a lot of older cats. It wasn't like K. It was a little bit more than newer than KRS-One. I can't even think of the name, but I think it was more like 80s, 90s R&B rappers. But yeah, they have free concerts there all the time. And not only that, that's for the adults and the kids, and they also have different little things that just throughout. They have I stay in Snellville. They have Snellville Day, they have Loganville Day. So it's a free events where they have it where you buy your food, all that stuff on your own. Different little trinkets they sell to the people. So they have a lot of free events and nice stuff. Then with my kids, I take them out different places as well. Like, we finna go on vacation at the end of the month. We're gonna go down to Florida. I'm thinking Orlando. And then we're gonna try to go up to Helen, Georgia, the next month after that. Because It's pretty nice up in Helen, Georgia. They have a Swedish town to where want to go up there with my goddaughter and godson. Take them up there. Yep. So yeah. So it's just nice. Who's hosting it? Hosting which? Yeah, you in Lithonia. Okay, you're not that far from where I be at. I'm actually in Decatur off of Flash Shows. I'm in Decatur off Flash Shows. But yeah, they have all that. And Snellville is like a amphitheater. I mean, in Loganville, they have free concerts there and stuff. Oh yeah, the business. I think the city of Stockbridge hosts it because that's where their arena at, and then they have a couple of business that put in. But you know, it's something to do for the community. I mean, it's kind of expensive down there too. I was thinking about buying a house down there as well, but my friend keep trying to give me. I want to have more land and stay farther out, but Stockbridge is starting to be a little big, so it's kind of pricing me out. You know, I don't want to spend that much money because if I spend more money, I want more land. I don't want to spend more money for more house, but less land. And then like the communities out there are just crazy. Yeah, yeah. That's the biggest thing, you know. And having a family compound, because that's what I really want to do overall, kind of to make it where I keep the kids around and see my grandkids. I can have them build a house on the property and stuff. I mean, hey, I'm even into building these tiny homes. That's been a dream of mine. I always have like a tiny home community and rent them out, you know, either rent them on vacation or just rent them in general to people that for low income housing or something like that, to the point where a lot of people are getting priced out of the communities, and have something like that for people, especially who don't have a big family, and it's good for them, you know. And you know, like I said, just things to do, like Snellville. I always took my kids to Snellville, Loganville Day, because I stayed out there. One of my friends, he still stay in Loganville, so he always called me asking am I bringing the kids out and stuff like that. But then I have Stockbridge. I have a friend that stays in Stockbridge, and he's constantly telling me about the events and stuff and telling me to look online. So it's always something small to do, and it's free. Even taking the kids downtown to Centennial Park, walking around there, might have to pay for the Ferris wheel or pay to go into the Coca-Cola. But stuff like that, man, just free things to do. What's going on? APTV in the building. Yeah, we always here. They ain't never there. But yeah, man, like I say, just having that budget, man, that's the key. Putting your money into something that you can, you know, save, because who knows what's going to happen. That's why I was saying prepping, having the necessary things that, you know, if something like a flood like this happen, you have a book bag, drop your paperwork in, make sure, because that's one thing that I seen to where when these disasters happen, how can you identify yourself? How can you identify these are your kids? How can you identify anything that represents these are your kids, you are who you say you are? You know, this is something, man, you lose everything. Most people, they don't have time to grab their wallet. Only thing they're doing is grabbing their phone. Once their phone dies out, everything is in their phone. You know, you kind of screwed. Same thing when it applies to you know, bug out bags, you know, like they're having the essentials for food, canned goods, water. If anything ever happens in your home, are you prepared? Do you have water? Do you have the essentials that can last you for 7 days? Most people got cabinets full of stuff. If your stove don't work, how are you going to cook? Do you have a grill where you can, you know, still use your grill to cook stuff, heat stuff up, put meat on the grill for it? Because if you don't have no power, that meat is thawing out. Do you have a cooler? You know, take the last little ice and water, put it in the cooler. Keep that cooler shut. Only open that cooler when needed to. Shoot, forget drinking cold water. Just drinking water is better than drinking no water. I mean, knowing how to make yourself a man-made cooler when you want to keep your water cold, dig a hole in the ground. You know, you can line it if you want to, but you ain't worrying about that. Put your bottles in the bag to where the tops won't get dirty and just put them in the ground. That ground gets cold, you know, especially in shade, that ground will stay cold. A lot of people have these little hunting tricks. Learning how to survive in the wilderness, man, and stuff like that. I watch so many survivor videos I learned on YouTube. I'm learning how to put me a solar panels up. I bought me a power station. I bought it online, and it was, I think, 150. It's a made Chinese brand. 150. Bought a power station that can run a microwave, cell phones, small refrigerator, and I want to buy something bigger to the point if my power goes out of my house, I run that. Just need gas. You know, I'm looking at prepping on how to run that line to my house, to where if anything, I can have it to where I turn my generator on and it powers my house. That's something I want to have constant power just in case something happens. Man, I want to be ready for it. Like power outages, man, occur all the time. I can't tell you how many times. It's like like a conspiracy theory, somebody planning for something. Man, don't you know my power went out last year, I think 9 times consistently. It was going out almost, first it started going out once every 3 weeks to a month. Then it started going twice every 2 weeks. Then my power started going out 3 times a week. And it did that every other week. And it was like the consistency on when it was going out. I'm like, what if something happens like this permanently? You know, what are we going to do? So you got to plan for stuff like that, man. Like I said, if something were to happen, a flood in your area, do you sit high enough to where your house won't get flooded out? Are you in a flood zone? Do you have rivers and do you have ponds and streams that are close to your house that'll flood your house? There's ways of preparing for that. Digging trenches and, you know, building up concrete. Like this one guy, he bought a whole bunch of sandbags and protect his house during Katrina. A lot of people didn't, you know, say anything about it because, hey, this guy was prepared. When he seen the water rising a little bit, he jumped into action, went to Home Depot, started buying those bags. You know, people with fires, they have fires, they get a sprinkler system and put sprinklers around their house and wet all their grass and everything, so it was harder for that flame to catch and all that wet grass. You got to have some extreme fires to burn like that. But I'm gonna get off of here, man. Just like I said, save your money, prepare for the worst. If anything's happened, you know, you kind of have a leg up. You're prepared for it. You know, with all the things that's going on, you got to prepare yourself. You got to make sure you have enough money. What if the bank goes out? Do you have any cash on you? What if your credit don't work, you know, to where you can't get any credit, anything with a credit card, bank card? Do you have cash? Just one old guy at my job was getting on me about that because I don't carry cash like I used to. Now starting back to get a couple of dollars here or there. A lot of older people. One of my friends, this guy probably got about $2,000 in his house. He probably got more than that, but he's one of those old guys that keep cash on him because cash rules. Small denominations, he tell you, man, you can't go and break 100 if somebody don't have $100 to give. You know, something happens and the power goes out. Got me one time, and I'm gonna get off of here. There was a big storm that happened out here, and I had to go to work the next day. They wasn't accepting any cash. I mean, they wasn't accepting any card. The card machines were down. They only accepting cash. I didn't have no cash. I had to go try to find an ATM. This guy walked up. He said, "Man, you ain't got no money?" Didn't even know this guy from nobody. He said, "Hey, go, bro." Gave me 20. I said, "Man, that's $20, man." He's like, "Nah, this is my last 20. You good?" He said, "I got me food right here that's gonna last me the whole day till I get home, and I got money at home." Didn't even know this guy. Gave me $20. I go by that grocery store every so often just so I can see if he there, or I can pay it back to him. I couldn't find him, seeing an old lady too. When I went into another store the next day, I paid it forward. I gave her 20. She said the same thing I said. I said, look, somebody gave me money yesterday, I'm just paying it forward. Pay it to the next person. But with that being said, shout out to everybody. I always say, we here, we gone. Peace.